The family of Dominique Jefferson is heartbroken, saying she was the woman shot and killed at the Holly View Apartments around midnight Saturday.
He took my baby. This is my baby daughter.
And he gave her the ring, kneeled down on his knees and gave her the ring. And then 3 days later, he turned around and killed my daughter.
When people propose and get engaged, it's meant to be a time of happiness and excitement. But for some couples, things end in tragedy, with one member of the happy couple being brutally and senselessly murdered. We'll start with the story of Dominique Jefferson, whose moment of joy live-streamed. However, the cheers from that night would soon be replaced by gasps of disbelief. Dominique wasn't just another name in the news. She was a mother, a mentor, and a visionary. Growing up in Houston, she dedicated herself to her community. She had a passion for helping African American women pursue art and education. This was the reason she was so well liked and respected. She had a beautiful heart and soul that would soon be taken away from the world. Kendrick Atkins entered Dominique's life just 4 months before that fateful evening when he popped the question.
I thought she had found the man of her dreams. It was a nightmare of her life.
Friends say their relationship was intense and passionate, but also fast, with several warning Dominique to take it slow. It was like a romantic tornado, beautiful to see, but it also gave some people cause for worry. You see, Kendrick, 39, had a checkered past with brief glimpses into instability. He was not the mature, stable, and sensible person that Dominique had been led to believe that he was. Public records later revealed Kendrick had a history of minor offenses and failed relationships. He had been in and out of jail for all kinds of petty crimes, and while he was never considered dangerous, the authorities knew that they had to keep their eye on him, just in case. Yet to Dominique's family, he appeared respectful, even charming. Love often blinds us to the signs we later wish we'd seen. Kendrick was wearing a mask that no one could see behind, and when Dominique did get a glimpse of the real Kendrick, it was far too late. On December 31st, 2019, New Year's Eve, Kendrick orchestrated a public proposal that seemed straight out of a movie. He thought that if he made a big show of his proposal, then she would say yes. He wore a custom-made t-shirt with the words, "Dominique, will you marry me?" He set up his phone and streamed the entire thing on social media. It was a truly beautiful moment, and people who were watching were moved by the extravagant gesture.
He had a shirt on that said, "Dominique, will you marry me?" on his shirt. And he gave her the ring, kneeled down on his knees and gave her the ring.
Friends cheered, and virtual hearts filled the screen. We have to hand it to Kendrick. It was a beautiful way of proposing, but what no one realized was that beauty wouldn't last long. Behind closed doors, their relationship was crumbling. In the days following the proposal, tensions between Dominique and Kendrick escalated. That loving tornado started to become destructive and dangerous, tearing itself apart. Close friends reported heated arguments about finances and trust issues. One incident involved a dispute over Kendrick's car usage, a seemingly minor disagreement that spiraled into something much darker. On January 3rd, 2020, the tension reached a breaking point. It had been brewing for weeks, but the levee had eventually broken, and Kendrick unleashed his true self. Neighbors recall hearing shouts outside their Northwest Houston apartment. It was a peaceful and respectable neighborhood, and arguments like that weren't often heard. So it immediately sparked fear and worry. But then another far more terrifying noise would pierce the air, a loud blast. When people went to investigate, Dominique was found lying beside an open car door, a single gunshot wound to the chest. Kendrick wasn't there when the police arrived. Witnesses saw him flee.
The family of Dominique Jefferson is heartbroken, saying she was the woman shot and killed at the Holly View Apartments around midnight Saturday.
Dominique's mother, Tina Hunter, received a phone call she'll never forget. It was the kind of call that no parent should ever have to receive, and it shattered her heart into a million pieces.
I thought she had found the man of her dreams. And it turned out it wasn't the man of her dreams. It was a nightmare of her life.
The next day, Kendrick turned himself in, but why had he shot Dominic? What had driven him to do such a heartless thing? He had an answer to those questions: self-defense. But inconsistencies riddled his story. Police interviews revealed contradictions about the sequence of events and the weapon. The long and short was that they didn't believe him, and they didn't believe that Dominic had done anything to make Kendrick feel threatened enough to shoot her. Despite his flimsy defense, prosecutors painted a picture of a man unable to control his anger, whose insecurities turned deadly. Charges were filed for first-degree murder, and the harshest of punishments was requested.
Increasing bonds by $100,000 for a man charged with murdering his fiancée just 3 days after proposing.
The Houston community rallied around Dominic's family. At the candlelight vigil, dozens gathered wearing purple, her favorite color. Her children, now motherless, face a future marked by loss. Friends set up a fund to support them, ensuring Dominic's dreams for their future live on. Dominic Jefferson's death highlights a chilling truth. Domestic violence doesn't always look like the stereotypes we expect. It can hide behind smiles, proposals, and carefully curated social media posts. Experts stress the importance of recognizing early signs, controlling behavior, isolation from friends, and rapid escalations in commitment. Dominic Jefferson's life was cut tragically short, but her impact endures. Her story is a call for awareness, a plea for change. In her memory, let's build a world where love is safe, where voices are heard, and where no one's light is extinguished too soon. There are other similar stories of people who were murdered after being proposed to. For example, the story of Maya Jennifer Simmons rocked her local community. She was murdered only days after her fiancé got down on one knee and popped the question.
The Charleston County coroner has also identified the victim from a separate shooting early this morning in North Charleston.
Maya was the mother of 8 children, and she had recently been proposed to by her fiancé. She had many small businesses and side hustles, and was well liked by everyone around her. So when she got engaged, people were over the moon with happiness. She and her fiancé were a strong and close couple, with many people believing them to be soulmates. She loved his personality and quirks, and he loved Maya's fun and outgoing nature. But things took a very dark turn when her fiancé's ex-girlfriend, Kaisha Simmons Birch, found out about the proposal. She was not happy her man was moving on with another woman. Maya and Kaisha had a rivalry, but it was limited to online or text message arguments. But on a night out with her friends, Maya bumped into Kaisha. The two argued, with Kaisha eventually getting a gun and shooting Maya dead.
Officials say 30-year-old Maya Jennifer Simmons died at an emergency room after a shooting in the 6800 block of Dorchester Road.
It was a tragic and senseless end to Maya's life. Her only crime was to have loved a man. He had done nothing wrong. Rather, it was his ex who couldn't keep her jealousy in check and lashed out in the most violent of ways possible, leaving the family devastated and her fiancé a broken man. Maya's story is another tragic tale that could and should have been avoided. But the most shocking story of all is the murder of Brittany Jones, who was shot to death by her own fiancé, Dante Marquez Bender, not long after she had been proposed to. Dante and Brittany seemed like a strong and loving couple. Brittany was a pregnant mother of 4 kids and worked in healthcare, providing aid for those in need. It just proved how much of a caring and loving woman she was, and it's easy to see what many men, including Dante, saw in her. No one was surprised when the two of them announced their engagement. Dante, a former police officer, seemed like a strong and caring gentleman. But the truth is that behind closed doors, things were different. Brittany contacted the police after Dante had been physical with her. She must have feared for her safety, as officers were dispatched immediately. By the time the first officer arrived on the scene, Dante had shot and killed his fiancée. He then turned the gun on the cop, killing him too before fleeing. It was a confusing and horrific twist that no one saw coming.
Tonight, the man accused of shooting and killing a Meridian police officer is behind bars after U.S. Marshals arrest him this morning.
But when he was arrested, Dante was adamant that he didn't do it. Even when being questioned by a reporter while being led away, he kept repeating that he was an innocent man and that he did not kill Brittany or the cop.
I didn't do it.
None. Nothing
do
about
it.
shooting and killing.
I
Officer
didn't do
Coons,
it.
you say you didn't do it.
The judge and jury who were assigned to the trial all disagreed, though, and Dante was ultimately sentenced to spend the rest of his life in jail for the killing of the officer and, more tragically, the woman he was supposed to have loved and been marrying. It just goes to show that not every love story has a happy ending, no matter how much we may want them to.
Oh, you better walk with your checkbook. Money feelings, make we in a dealings. Medic.
I don't know what is happening to Stephanie's disappearance. It is so silent. I am not hearing nothing. It's because I don't know what is happening. I don't I don't know what is happening.
What began as an ordinary trip to a photo shoot turned into a chilling nightmare for 29-year-old Stephanie William, who was savagely murdered by people she thought she could trust. Her desperate family spent months searching for her, clinging to hope, but finding no answers. Then, nearly a year later, their worst fears were confirmed when Stephanie's skeletal remains were discovered buried in a shallow grave on a remote sugarcane plantation. But the nightmare was far from over. Even though the police identified suspects, the fight for justice would be tedious and uncertain, leaving Stephanie's family drowning in grief and unanswered questions. This story is as haunting as it is heartbreaking, and disturbingly, it's just one of many like it.
He was targeting her only. I saw it, like, he wasn't like shooting at like everybody. He was just shooting at her.
I think the rapper was like screaming, I'm hit, and she was just laying on the ground until the medics came.
Stephanie Williams, aka Medic. Stephanie Williams, popularly known as Medic, was a 29-year-old dancehall artist from Westmoreland, Jamaica. Her childhood was marked by a traumatic experience caused by her father, which left emotional scars that she carried into adulthood. But instead of letting her past define her, Medic used her pain to fuel her passion for music. She initially started studying nursing after high school, wanting to help others, but her love for music eventually took over. In 2017, she debuted with her single Me Ride, which quickly gained attention and showcased her unique style and emotional depth. For Medic, music was more than a career. It was her therapy and her way of connecting with others who'd been through similar struggles. But Medic wasn't just about music. She also pursued entrepreneurship by starting her business, Reborn Holistic, as a way to turn her resilience into something positive. However, her life would take a complicated and darker turn when she got involved with Dwight Gale, aka White Knight. Now, Dwight was a convicted killer who was already serving a 25-year prison sentence, but somehow he still acted like he was running things on the outside and even became Medic's boyfriend and manager. Things took a troubling twist when a close male friend of Medic's was killed, and rumors started swirling that Dwight might have ordered the hit from behind bars out of jealousy. After that, everything changed, and Medic's once bright future started to spiral toward a tragic end. On August 21st, 2023, Medic got a call from Dwight about a photo shoot in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. Since Medic didn't have a car, Dwight sent someone to pick her up. She was on the phone with her sister when the driver arrived, and she hung up and went with him. CCTV footage captured Medic leaving her Mayfair Red Hills Road apartment in St. Andrew. She was dressed entirely in black, a blouse, tights, and shoes. Tragically, this was the last time anyone would see Medic alive. When she didn't return home that evening, her family got worried and tried calling, but all the calls went to voicemail. Her mom, Millicent McCurdy, later said that she knew something was wrong because her daughter was always on her phone. Desperate for answers, the family reached out to her management team to get details about the supposed photo shoot, but got nothing. As days turned into weeks, Medic's family and friends worked closely with the police, searching tirelessly for any leads. Unfortunately, every clue they found led to another dead end, leaving them heartbroken and frustrated. Then, 3 months later, the family got what they thought was a glimmer of hope. Someone contacted one of her younger sisters, claiming that Medic was being held in a house in Linstead. However, there was a catch. The caller demanded an equivalent of $1,600 in exchange for the information. Desperate to get her back, the family sent the money, but the lead turned out to be another dead end. The caller vanished, the phone calls stopped, and media remained missing. The family reported the extortion attempt to the police, providing bank account details used in the transaction, but nothing came of it. Medic's mother, Millicent, expressed her deep frustration and disappointment in the police for failing to make progress, especially given their reputation for using advanced crime-fighting methods.
I am desperate. I'm seeking you to come on board with me. I need the nation. Mighty God, I need help. I need help. I'm looking to you. Nothing, I'm not hearing anything. Nothing to bring comfort. Nothing.
But what made it worse was that there were solid leads that should have moved the investigation forward. Medic's last known location had been pinned, and the driver who picked her up that day had been identified. Yet, despite these critical clues, the case stalled with no breakthroughs, leaving her family and friends heartbroken and desperate for answers.
And to hear what has happened to Stephanie, something is not right here. To find out that she's been missing for so long, there's so many pieces of evidence and not a single suspect. No one is coming out, no leads or anything. I'm appealing to the Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister to get on board, to stand, to show us that Jamaica isn't some background country. We are a developing country. We're too lackadaisical in the work that we do. We should stand up. All these the missing females, the missing children, too much is happening too often and too much. So many cases going unsolved. I'm appealing to the Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister to make a stand, get on board and make a difference. We need to have a country that we can be proud of.
Then, after nearly a year of uncertainty and pain, the search for Medic came to a tragic end on February 14, 2024, after human skeletal remains were found in a cane field in St. Catherine. DNA tests confirmed it was Medic, and a forensic report revealed she had died from gunshot wounds. This heartbreaking discovery shifted the case from a missing person investigation to a murder inquiry. The Deputy Commissioner of Police later revealed that they believed Medic was a victim of a contract hit, and that they already had several people of interest in the case, including one in prison. But despite their apparent confidence, they kept the details vague and didn't release any names.
I've spoken to her personally that her matter is not neglected. We continue to focus on it, and we will pursue all leads and use all the resources that we have to bring closure, because I think everybody wants closure to their case.
This lack of information left Medic's family further frustrated and the public anxious as the investigation dragged on.
For the public, that we apply the same standard to every investigation. That matter that you have referenced, I have also intervened, I've spoken to the investigators, I have looked at the evidence that is available, but we are still pursuing that investigation. And if you know how we do our thing, we don't make a lot of noise when we do investigation. We investigate and then we speak after. And that is the approach that we have been taking. And we will continue to take this approach. In all investigation, we investigate and we speak after the investigation. But I want to reassure, in particular the mother, I have spoken to her personally, that her matter is not neglected. We continue to focus on it, and we will.
As of November 2024, there haven't been any updates on Medic's case, and it's still unclear if anyone has been charged for her tragic murder.
I just want to point out that whilst we cannot tell an individual how they should live their lives, but one must be cautious with the type of relationship that they engage in. And in that particular matter, we believe that certain instruction was issued by a convict within a penal institution. And we are doing our probe, we are continuing our probe, because we want to bring closure to the matter as well.
Her family, though, hasn't lost hope. They believe the truth will eventually come out and justice will be served for Medic. Sadly, as heartbreaking as her story is, it's not unique. Up next is another young, talented rapper on the brink of stardom, whose life was cruelly taken by someone looking to profit from her success without putting in the work. Courtney Bruce, aka Boog, the Bandit.
Police worked to figure out who shot a local rapper on the city's east side just yesterday. Investigators say someone fired a number of shots at 26-year-old Courtney Bruce while she was sitting in a car with a man on Dort Place.
Courtney Nicole Bruce, better known as Boog the Bandit, was a rising rapper who started making a name for herself in 2021 with songs like Heart Away, Hot Topic, and Risky, which racked up over 100,000 views on YouTube. But just as her career was taking off, her life was brutally taken, leaving her loved ones and fans devastated.
Her music, she wanted to use her platform for good, and that spoke on her character. Every time I saw her, it was good energy.
Before music, Courtney modeled for big brands like Chris Brown's Black Pyramid and Rob Kardashian's Arthur George, but her real passion was always music.
DM and DM again. Everybody want to know how I started modeling. Long story short, I went up to New York, met some of the best people I have ever encountered in my whole entire life, and they just changed my perspective on a lot of shit. It wasn't something that was supposed to happen. I just seen a bigger and better picture than from where I'm from, Columbus, Ohio, where don't nobody make it out. Everybody grow up and get stuck in. That's where I'm from. I went up there, I seen life. I'm like, I gotta make something shake. It ain't even about being fresh and best dressed and looking sweet all the time. No, I model because I want people to look at me and be like, damn, she wanted me to feel this way and I felt this way. I'm trying to be transparent. Like, through and through. I want people to see through and through me, man. I ain't never know how to express myself. I do that through art, fashion. I'm about to get on this music wave, man. Like, I'm going to be that person, you feel me? I am the difference. That's just how I always felt about myself. I never knew how to express it.
She got her first taste of recording in high school, but her journey wasn't easy as she got in trouble with the law and spent about 2 years in prison for fraud. But she didn't let that experience stop her from pursuing her passion, and after her release, she released her debut single, Lonely, in 2020. The song connected with people beyond her hometown of Columbus, helping her grow a loyal fan base. Her talent soon caught the attention of producer Anthony Tate, who signed her to Music the Label Incorporated. She also had a big spiritual moment when she got baptized on Valentine's Day, which gave her a fresh start and a new sense of direction.
This is Courtney Bruce. He's received the Holy Ghost. Courtney Bruce, now baptize you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ for the remission of your sins. You shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost and rise to walk in newness of life. In Jesus' name.
Courtney was on the path to achieving her dreams, including helping her mom retire, but sadly, her promising future was tragically cut short on May 20th, 2021. That evening, around 6 p.m., Courtney was sitting in a car with a male friend on Dort Place in Columbus, Ohio, when a group of armed men suddenly approached them and opened fire. Her friend, who was unharmed, managed to drive Courtney to the hospital with serious injuries. Incredibly, Courtney even walked into the emergency room herself, but sadly, despite her efforts to fight, she was pronounced dead moments later, leaving her family, friends, and fans heartbroken over the loss of such a promising life.
Columbus police are investigating yet another homicide. This is the 75th for the year. Now, the shooting happened right over here. The victim was an up-and-coming rapper. Her mom tells me she had a big personality and a big future. Columbus police say they were called to Mount Carmel East for a gunshot victim. They say 26-year-old Courtney Bruce died at the hospital. They say Bruce was in a car with a guy when they were assaulted by a group of men with guns. Now, the men shot at the car several times, hitting Bruce. She was driven to the hospital but did not make it. She was known as Boog the Bandit, and her mom says she just released new music.
Courtney was a hot tomato, spicy, hot, determined, true to her nature. She knew who she was.
The investigation into Courtney's murder began right away, and by June 2021, police had arrested 22-year-old Kyson Murphy as their first suspect. Police revealed that Kyson, who knew Courtney, had lured her to the location under false pretenses. Courtney and her friend thought they were meeting someone to buy and talk about her next music video, but when they arrived, Kyson and his crew tried to rob them at gunpoint. They took cash, jewelry, and a cell phone from Courtney's friend, but when Courtney resisted, they fired at her and stole $13,000 in cash she had with her. Kyson later helped police identify the others involved. 19-year-old Jumada Williams, and 20-year-old Sincere McIntyre. All three pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and robbery. Kyson was sentenced to 12 to 16 and a half years, while Jumada, who pulled the trigger, got 20 to 25 1/2 years, and Sincere received life with the possibility of parole after 18 years. Though the conviction brought some sense of justice, Courtney's loved ones were left grieving the loss of a young woman with so much potential. Her mom, Wanda, said she hoped Courtney would be remembered not as just another statistic, but as someone who worked hard to overcome challenges and make a difference in the world.
She was love. Even through her tribulation and trials and stuff, she tried to make the best of things. She made mistakes. We all do.
Now, from Courtney's heartbreaking story, let's jump into another chilling case of a promising female rapper whose life was cut short after rapping about the cold-blooded murder of her ex-boyfriend. Aliana Green, aka Tandagod.
Family and friends gathered outside Glamour Beauty Supply in Oakland Sunday, many in tears as they paid tribute to local female rapper and entrepreneur Tandagod. They confirmed to Chron 4 she was shot and killed at a grand opening event for the beauty store Saturday.
Aliana Green, popularly known as Tandagod, was only 27 years old when she was brutally gunned down outside of a beauty supply store. And get this, her murder was believed to be connected to her bragging about taking out her ex-boyfriend. Aliana had a pretty rough childhood that saw her dating a gang member named Lamar when she was only 17. However, their relationship quickly became toxic, with Lamar constantly hurting her and threatening to end her life and her family if she ever left him. One day, during a heated argument, things escalated, and fearing for her life, Aliana fired a gun at Lamar. She later pleaded no contest and was placed in protective custody after her release. But instead of laying low, Aliana made a controversial post online saying, "You really gotta keep your hands to yourself, like at Chrisian said, bro. And instead of calling the police, I handled it myself. How y'all okay with them playing crazy? But when we fight back, we're the ones facing time. I can't beat a man up, so I did what I had to do." As you can imagine, that didn't sit well with a lot of people, especially her ex-boyfriend's family members. But here's where things get wild. Aliana was also a rapper. After getting out of jail, she poured her energy into her music and even made a song dissing Lamar. In it, she openly rapped about what happened, even bragging about smoking him. But she didn't stop there. She took things to another level with her album cover. It featured Lamar's head literally smoking while she stood behind him. She called the album Ex-Woodpack, and it went viral, sparking all kinds of reactions online. In interviews, she unapologetically defended her actions, claiming the relationship was abusive and that she had no choice but to take matters into her own hands. Her story left people divided, with some seeing her as a victim reclaiming her power, while others were horrified by how bold she was about the whole situation. But Aliana was still not done. In a chilling move, she created a fake tombstone marking the start and end of her relationship with Lamar, eerily revealing that the end date matched the day she went to court. And to make matters worse, the headstone featured lyrics from her diss track, Ex-Woodpack, as if taunting Lamar's loved ones and daring them to respond.
Should have never died. You should have never played with me, because then I gotta take it to the 3rd degree. You know, like. So when I look at this little tombstone, I be like, man, it's like it's crazy. So September 23rd is like the day I dropped Pond and Top. You know what I'm saying? So I had to put that on there. Well, not really. Really, it's 3 years ago I dropped Pond and Top. It's like the anniversary, and I just happen to have court on this day. Everything just came together. So I got this to be extra childish, making families mad. And oh well, because they ain't gonna do shit about it.
Smoking on that Ex-Woodpack.
Oh yeah, you know it. Matter of fact, I got to smoke on this dead motherfucker as we speak. Hold up.
Eventually, her actions got the response she seemed to be looking for, and what happened next was nothing short of a nightmare. On Saturday, September 23rd, 2024, Aliana was all set for the grand opening of a new beauty supply store in Oakland. She had been promoting the event all over social media.
Here, I got Granny in the cut, don't play with it.
sharing the time, location, and all the details. Unfortunately, what should have been a celebration would turn into a devastating tragedy. At around 5 p.m., Aliana was in the parking lot of a strip mall when someone wearing a hoodie opened fire. Chaos broke out as people ran for cover in nearby shops. Aliana was hit multiple times and rushed to the hospital, where she sadly succumbed to her injuries. Another woman was injured in the incident, but made a full recovery.
A woman shot dead in broad daylight.
Yeah, everybody like ducked and like hide behind the cars and stuff.
It was supposed to be a celebration. Glamour Beauty Supply on Telegraph in Oakland was hosting a grand opening on Saturday. The historic beauty shop closed back in May but was under new ownership. Friends identified the woman killed as Aliana Green, known as Oakland rapper Tanda God. The new owner of the shop, who declined an interview, says he invited the well-known Oakland rapper to the event because she was a supporter of Black-owned businesses. This is video from her Instagram. She was promoting the grand opening and having a meet and greet with fans.
She was performing there, and this guy with the hoodie just walks in through that gate and just started shooting.
I hear some shots, right? So the shots I thought was just part of like the music, the performance, and then I heard like 3 really loud shots.
Vincent, who works the donut shop next door, says people came into his shop for cover from the gunfire. Police are tight-lipped about what led to the shooting, but friends of the rapper, who were too scared to speak on camera, tell us they think she was targeted, and witnesses agree.
He was targeting her only, because I saw it, like he wasn't like shooting at like everybody. He was just shooting at her.
I think the rapper was like screaming, I'm hit, and she was just laying on the ground until the medics came.
The next day, family, friends, and fans gathered outside the store to mourn her loss. Bay Area rapper Mr. Fab, who was supposed to attend the event but couldn't make it, called Aliana a hustler with endless ambition, drive, and courage. Speculation about the motive started immediately. Some thought it might have been tied to Lamar's family or friends, while others blamed her bold decision to diss the dead in her music. Then, on July 18th, just days after Aliana's murder, police arrested 30-year-old Dominic Gates, a rapper who went by BNC4 Nero. His record was already sketchy, with 3 felony convictions, including one for pimping a minor. A second suspect, 32-year-old Richard Romano, also a convicted felon, was arrested about a month later. It's not clear how well they knew Aliana or what exactly drove them to kill her, but many believe jealousy played a part. Aliana's career was on the rise, and they couldn't stand watching her succeed, so they took her out. Both men now face serious charges like murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and shooting into an occupied building. If convicted, they could spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Now, let's go to our final case of 2 talented Dancing Dolls stars who were brutally murdered months apart from each other.
16-year-old reality TV dancer Daishea Hall has died from gun violence. Daishea was a member of the Dancing Dolls, a troupe featured on Lifetime Television's Bring It.
That leap in the beginning?
The show followed choreographer Diana Williams as she prepared the Dancing Dolls for hip-hop and majorette competitions. Police say Daishea was shot and killed outside of a grocery store in Atlanta, Georgia on June 13th.
There was a dispute that then escalated to gunfire.
A 17-year-old boy was also shot in this incident. This is not the first time the Dancing Dolls has lost a member to guns. 19-year-old Shakira Gatlin was killed on February 2nd, 2022, in what authorities have called an accidental mishandling of a firearm by a juvenile. Police have asked for anyone with information on the June 13th shooting to contact Crime Stoppers at 404-577-8477.
Prepare to delve into a heart-wrenching story that has shaken an entire community to its core. In this gripping video, we unravel the haunting details of the tragic cases of Daishea Hall and Shakira Gatlin, 2 promising young dancers whose lives were brutally cut short in a nightmarish sequence of events that has left indelible scars on their loved ones and fans. From the vibrant world of the Dancing Dolls to the horrifying realities that shattered their dreams, this is a tale of youthful ambition turned into unfathomable tragedy and a community's desperate quest for answers. Join us as we uncover the chilling sequence of events that led to the untimely deaths of Daishea and Shakira. Daisha Hall, a radiant 16-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia, was a beacon of joy and energy, lighting up any room she entered. Shakira Gatlin, a 19-year-old powerhouse from Jackson, Mississippi, captivated audiences with her electrifying dance moves and relentless determination. Both girls were beloved members of the Dancing Dolls, a group known for its dynamic performances and inspiring stories. Their futures seemed limitless, yet their lives were tragically cut short by senseless violence. What causes such promising lives to be abruptly and violently ended? This question haunts the hearts and minds of many, especially when the victims are young and full of potential. As we delve into their stories, we will explore the relentless investigations that followed their murders, the desperate cries for justice from their families, and the chilling details of the circumstances surrounding their deaths. Through interviews with those closest to Daisha and Shakira, we will piece together the narrative of their lives and their tragic ends. We will hear from friends, family members, and local authorities who grapple with the aftermath of the violence and strive to find meaning in the senselessness. The unexpected and violent deaths of Daisha and Shakira sent shockwaves through their communities, leaving everyone grappling with an unimaginable loss. The vibrant lives of these two young women were overshadowed by a dark and terrifying reality. The Dancing Dolls, once a symbol of hope and inspiration, became a grim reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows. The sense of safety that once surrounded their community was shattered, leaving parents hugging their children a little tighter and teenagers looking over their shoulders more often. Stay with us as we navigate through the emotional details of this heartbreaking story, piecing together clues, hearing from those who knew Daisha and Shakira best, and understanding the profound impact of their loss. We will also delve into the broader implications of these cases, examining the intersection of youth, fame, and violence, and the urgent need for systemic changes to prevent such tragedies in the future. This story is deeply disturbing and will stay with you long after watching. So let's dive in.
Second Dollhouse Factory dancer lost to gun violence. Daisha's death comes months after former troop member Shakira Gatlin was shot dead in February. Shakira, 19, was fatally struck by gunfire at a home in Jackson, Mississippi. According to the police, the teen was shot in the head after an underage male mishandled a gun.
In the glitzy world of reality TV, the Dancing Dolls stood out. Featured on Lifetime Television's Bring It, this troupe, led by the fiery and talented choreographer Diana Williams, dazzled audiences with their intricate hip-hop and majorette routines. Among these bright stars were two young women whose lives were tragically cut short: Daisha Hall and Shakira Gatlin. Shakira Gatlin, a 19-year-old powerhouse from Jackson, Mississippi, had a future that seemed limitless. She was a star performer in the Dancing Dolls, known for her electrifying energy and impressive dance moves. Shakira's journey with the Dancing Dolls was a testament to her dedication and passion for dance, capturing the hearts of viewers and earning her a loyal fan base. But her promising life came to a sudden and tragic end on February 2nd, 2022. Shakira was shot in the head in what authorities called an accidental mishandling of a firearm by a juvenile. The chilling details of her death are haunting. On that fateful day, she was at a friend's house, a place where she should have been safe. The juvenile, playing with a gun, accidentally fired it, and the bullet struck Shakira. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the house, followed by screams and chaos. Shakira's friends watched in horror as she collapsed, blood pooling around her. The paramedics arrived quickly, but it was too late. Shakira was pronounced dead at the scene.
16-year-old reality TV dancer Daisha Hall has died from gun violence. Daisha was a member of the Dancing Dolls, a troupe featured on Lifetime Television's Bring It.
That leap in the beginning.
The show followed choreographer Diana Williams as she prepared the Dancing Dolls for hip-hop and majorette competitions. Police say Daisha was shot and killed outside of a grocery store in Atlanta, Georgia on June 13th. This is not the first time the Dancing Dolls has lost a member to guns. 19-year-old Shakira Gatlin was killed on February 2nd, 2022, in what authorities have called an accidental mishandling of a firearm.
The incident left the Dancing Dolls and their community in shock. How could such a vibrant, talented young woman be gone so suddenly? The senselessness of her death was a grim reminder of the dangers of firearms and the devastating consequences of careless handling. The entire community was plunged into mourning. Her teammates, who had shared countless hours practicing and performing with her, were left grappling with an unimaginable loss. Shakira's death was not just a personal tragedy, but a blow to everyone who had watched her grow and shine.
New at 5, a high school teen dancer is dead.
And police say her killer is still on the run. Fox 5's Portia Bruner joins us live from DeKalb County with more details. Portia?
Yeah, this is such a heartbreaking story. In this area last night, we're off of Flat Shoals Parkway and Flakes Mill Road, and you could see just dozens of teenage girls who were all here, many dancers and friends who were all here, had set up this tribute to, they called her Shay Hall, just 16 years old, shot and killed here Sunday night by someone who remains on the run.
Shay Hall, known to her friends and family as Shay, was a 16-year-old rising star from Atlanta, Georgia. Shay was full of life, love, and an undeniable passion for dance. She dedicated countless hours to honing her craft, sharing her talent and enthusiasm with everyone around her. Her performances with the Dancing Dolls were nothing short of spectacular, earning her admiration and respect from peers and audiences alike. On June 13th, 2023, Shay's life was tragically cut short. She was shot and killed outside a grocery store in Atlanta, a place she often visited. According to the police, the shooting stemmed from a dispute that escalated into gunfire. Shay was with her friend, 17-year-old Javante Wood, when the argument began. Witnesses described a tense altercation that quickly spiraled out of control. Shouting turned to shoving, and then, in an instant, the crack of gunfire filled the air. Shay was struck multiple times, and Javante was critically wounded.
With that breaking news, a fight between two groups leads to gunfire at a shopping plaza on Flat Shoals Parkway. One person is dead. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston is live for us at this scene with the breaking details tonight. Yasmina, good evening.
Yes, Savannah, good evening. And the scene cleared not too long ago, but this is the part of the shopping center that shooting happened in earlier tonight. DeKalb County Police saying two groups of people got into an argument and then shots were fired. We do know tonight that one person has died after that shooting, and this is a pretty big shopping center with a lot of traffic moving through it, especially earlier in the night. So it is a pretty scary situation for those people who were shopping and driving through this parking lot.
The scene outside the grocery store was chaotic. Bystanders screamed and ran for cover as the gunshots rang out. Shay's body lay lifeless on the pavement, her blood staining the ground. The police arrived to find a horrific scene. The bodies of two teenagers, one dead and the other barely clinging to life. The investigation revealed that the altercation had started over something trivial, a minor dispute that turned deadly in seconds. The tragedy didn't end with Shay's death. Just hours later, another shooting occurred outside Grady Memorial Hospital, where her family was mourning. This time, it involved a dispute among family members, resulting in the death of Shay's cousin, 32-year-old Vincent Parks Jr. The violence that had claimed Shay's life seemed to spread like a dark cloud over her family.
Police have not yet said anything about any suspects, but again, we do know that one person has died after two groups of people got into an argument of some sort here in this DeKalb County shopping center. We will, of course, update you as we continue to learn more. Live in DeKalb County, Yasmina Alston, CBS 46 News.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Shay's mother, Diana McCord, was inconsolable. She described her daughter as full of life, active in school and her community. She spoke of Shay's generosity and love for dance, highlighting the deep pain the family felt. Whoever did this, please come forward. You took our joy away from us, she pleaded. But the pleas for justice seemed to fall on deaf ears as the investigation dragged on with few leads.
Shot dead outside of Kroger's convenience store on Flat Shoals Parkway at 7:46 p.m. on Sunday. The fatal gunfire erupted in the parking lot of the store after Shay and a male friend, 17, became involved in an argument with two others. The 17-year-old friend, later identified to be Javante Wood, was also shot and remains in critical condition as of Tuesday. Just hours later, another shooting unfolded outside of the nearby Grady Memorial Hospital, where members of Shay's family were still grieving her death. Investigators say the shooting happened near the emergency room and stemmed from a dispute among family members of one of the victims. Shay's mother, Deanna McCord, told U.S. Sun she is torn apart after losing her daughter to Shay Hall, 16, and her cousin Vincent Parks Jr., 32, in two separate shootings in Atlanta, Georgia. She said, "I haven't had time to process anything."
The community rallied together, holding vigils and tributes in honor of Daisha and Shakira. Balloons, flowers, and candles adorn the spots where these young lives were taken, serving as poignant reminders of the vibrant spirits lost to senseless violence. The sight of these memorials was both touching and terrifying, a harsh reminder of how quickly life could be torn away.
I thank everybody again. Thank you all for showing up and coming out to celebrate with us. I guess on the count of 3, we're going to say happy birthday. We miss you, Shay.
Just, baby girl, we love you. We're going to keep putting on. We're going to keep pulling up. We're going to hold down your name, make you live forever from your uncle, the family, everybody. We love you, baby.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for Daisha Hall. Lord, even though she's not here with us, but she's in our heart. And we thank you for it. We ask you to continue to bless this family, strengthen us each and every day. We thank you, even though she's not here on her birthday, but we're here for her. Lord, we ask you right now to strengthen us, Lord. We thank you, we love you, we appreciate you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Happy birthday, Shay. We love you.
As news of the murders spread, the fear in the community grew. The dancing dolls, once a symbol of hope and inspiration, now carried a dark shadow. Parents worried about their children's safety, and every loud noise made people jumpy. The once bustling neighborhoods grew quiet, as if holding their breath, waiting for the next tragedy to strike. The investigation into Daisha's death revealed chilling details. The suspects were young, barely older than Daisha herself. They had been involved in petty crime and were known to the police. The argument that led to the shooting was over something insignificant, yet it escalated into violence that claimed a young life. The senselessness of it all was hard to grasp.
DeKalb County Police released photos of these 2 young men they described as persons of interest following the June 12th shooting in the parking lot of this shopping plaza on Flat Shoals Parkway. Investigators say a dispute between a person of interest and someone in this white sedan ended with the fatal shooting of 16-year-old Daisha Hall late Sunday. A second person was critically wounded that night, but police have not released that victim's identity. Balloons, flowers, and a row of melted candles remain at the spot where friends and fellow dancers chose to mark this tragic act of violence. The owner of the popular Dollhouse Dance Factory in Stone Mountain posted on social media that Daisha was, quote, fearless and would always try to elevate herself and everyone else in the dollhouse, adding, she was always encouraging her sisters and motivating everyone.
Police released photos of the suspects, hoping to get tips from the public. The images showed 2 young men, their faces hard and emotionless. The community's fear turned to anger as people demanded justice for Daisha. Her family, still reeling from the loss, joined the calls for the killers to be brought to justice.
Family members urging the shooter to come forward. We also talked to police who released new information in the case today.
And Daisha, it doesn't matter where she was. She would dance in church. She's done so much. This child speaks. She's just great.
Daisha Hall was full of life, active in school and her community.
She just was a really, really loving kid. She'll give anybody the shirt off her back if she could. Always trying to take care of everybody.
Dancing was her passion.
Dance was her life.
She spent countless hours honing her craft and shared her love of dance with the world. The teen was featured on a reality series as a member of the dance team, Miss D's Dancing Dolls. Her life came to a tragic end at this Kroger on Flat Shoals Parkway in DeKalb when she was shot and killed Sunday night.
In the weeks following the murders, the local news was dominated by stories of violence and loss. Each new report brought a fresh wave of fear and grief. The community, already struggling to cope with the deaths of Daisha and Shakira, was now facing an epidemic of violence that seemed to have no end.
Now, police are investigating a deadly shooting outside a DeKalb County grocery store. We brought this to you first as breaking news last night on WSB Tonight at 11. Police say 2 groups of people got into a fight near the Kroger on Flat Shoals Parkway in Decatur. They say someone started shooting, 1 person died. We're pushing for more information this morning. We'll update you as soon as we get new details.
Details out tonight on a mass shooting at a DeKalb County restaurant.
Just hours ago, we learned 4 men were shot last night at Fletcher's on Candler Road. That's over in the South DeKalb Mall. We know one of the 4 men has died now. Investigators say this all started because of, quote, a dispute over a female. DeKalb police identified all 4 who were shot, including that person who was killed. Police say they have not made any arrests in this case yet, but they say they are following new leads as we speak.
As the investigations into these shootings continue, the families of Deshae and Shakira, along with their community, demand justice. They urge anyone with information to come forward, hoping that the perpetrators will someday be held accountable for their actions.
A second teen was critically wounded.
Whoever did this, please hurt yourself, and you took our joy away from us.
This incident, we believe, stemmed from a very minor dispute in a parking lot that ended tragically.
On Friday, investigators released this photo of a suspect they're looking for in connection with the deadly shooting.
The community has done an outstanding job calling us with leads and tips.
We're just trying to cope with everything, taking it one day at a time. Everyone, the family, everybody's just heartbreaking about it.
Her mother, grandmother, and uncle now joining police and calling on the public to help find her killer.
The people that did this, the best thing to do is to turn yourself in. You took an innocent life from us. All of the things that you've heard said about my niece are true. Just a giving bundle of joy.
The deaths of Deshae Hall and Shakira Gatlin are a terrifying reminder of the devastating impact of gun violence. They highlight the urgent need for change and the importance of coming together as a community to find solutions. To this day, the knowledge that young lives can be taken so suddenly, so violently, casts a long shadow over the community. Parents now hug their children a little tighter, and teenagers look over their shoulders more often. The sense of safety that had once been taken for granted has now been shattered. Despite the community's calls for justice, the investigations into Deshae and Shakira's deaths remain slow-moving. The police have few leads, and the suspects remain at large. The lack of progress has only deepened the community's sense of despair and fear.
That white vehicle, any surveillance video they may have captured from this area, received a response by email this afternoon saying they're not ready to comment. They're working some leads and will have more to say about this case in a matter of days. In the meantime, thoughts and prayers are surely with the family of Shay and all the young dancers who were out here and who are longing for her, missing for her, and certainly wanting some answers. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Portia Bruner, Fox 5 News.
Such a devastating and concerning outcome there.
The families of Deshae and Shakira are now left with unanswered questions. Why did this happen? Who was responsible? Would justice ever be served? The uncertainty is a heavy burden, only worsening their grief and making it difficult to find closure.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox 5 News Edge at 11. I'm Alex Whitler. Police say that shooting happened in a Kroger parking lot on Flat Shoals Parkway. Fox 5's Rob DiRienzo is there live. Rob, has there been any updates since we last checked in with you?
Well, Alex, police just wrapped up their work here on scene a little while ago. We can confirm that at least one person is dead after police say a fight started in this parking lot. Now, I want to take you to some video that we shot a little while ago of the scene. The CSI unit was here taking measurements and pictures. Police are focusing their efforts on that gold BMW X3. Investigators tell us this all started as a big fight between two groups of people at the Chapel Hill Commons shopping plaza on Flat Shoals Parkway. During that fight, someone pulled out a gun and began to shoot. Fox 5's cameras captured the back right tire of the BMW blown out, a pair of shoes sitting right next to it. It's not clear how many people were hit, but again, we can confirm at least one person was dead. And a little while ago, we did see one individual being detained in a cop car. It's not clear if that person was charged with anything or if they're just a person of interest at this point. Of course, come back on Good Day Atlanta tomorrow morning for the very latest in this developing story.
The tragic tale of Deshae Hall and Shakira Gatlin is more than just a story of two young lives lost. It is a disturbing reminder of how fast life can be ripped away and the ever-present danger of gun violence. Their deaths cast a long shadow over the community, serving as a sinister warning of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. The community, once full of life and hope, now lives in constant fear. The memory of Deshae and Shakira, their lives cut short by senseless violence, is a haunting presence, a reminder of the darkness that could strike at any moment. In the end, the legacy of Deshae Hall and Shakira Gatlin is a haunting one. Their lives, filled with promise and talent, were ended in violence, leaving a community to grapple with the fear and grief that followed. Their stories serve as a chilling reminder of the impact of gun violence and a warning that no one is truly safe from the darkness that can strike at any moment. So what do you think about Daisha and Shakira's cases? Could they be linked? Who and why do you think killed them? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.